everyone, it's Anne Crafty Kimchi. Welcome back to my channel. I am back with a project share and a tutorial. And if you've been following me, you know that I have been loving making these mask holders, and these are actually using those polymer clay discs I recently just hauled from AliExpress, and I just love them. I was inspired by my friend Olga for the Love of Crafts, and she had used some gemmies in her mask holders, and I just had to create them. Again, she used some hollow beads as well, and these are hauled from AliExpress, but look how pretty these are. And I have been making a ton, you guys, for family, for friends, for kids. It's just, I think, just a great gift, and it's personalized and homemade. And I did use some perler beads to make some for kids, so you don't have to use your good stash, your good beads. And the main inspo was for my son. Whenever he gets in the car, he just has a tendency to throw his mask, and I really don't want to pick up a mask off the floor. So this is just an easy way to keep it contained on his neck. So I thought I'd put it together, and I'll show you the items that I'm using. I am using this bead stringing wire, and this is in the 0.46 millimeter, and I will leave links to product information down below if you're interested. You will need lobster clasps, and I picked up this big box of lobster clasps from Amazon, and you will need some crimp beads, and I picked this up from Hobby Lobby. I did use the 2.5 millimeter crimp beads, and you will need 2 crimp covers. So that's what that looks like. And I did take the liberty of stringing together, I'm just going to zoom in, some of this, the beads on these wires. And the finished mask cover measures about 18 inches. And I like to cut a very long string, probably 24 inches, and it's probably a little excessive only because I've made mistakes before, and when I need a little wiggle room, I'd rather cut the ends versus having to restring the whole thing all over again due to shortages. So I like to take my beads, and I always stick with one solid color first, and this will be the main base. And then I will set my design on a felt sheet just like this, and just get ready to string up the mask holder. So this is the design I went for. I am making this for a coworker, and her favorite color is baby blue, bluish tones. And just to give it a little bit of extra, I did put some spacer metal beads in between and a little bling, because we all need a little shiny in our life. And I did add some pearls just to give it a little color contrast and texture. And then again, I added some glass beads at the end just to make this fancy. I want her to be over the moon. She doesn't know she's getting it, so I can't wait for her to perceive it. But let's get started on how to seal this. Again, the finished product does measure 18 inches, so that would be a good measurement for the mask holder. And I'm just going to show you how to finish the mask holder. And these are about 2 inches, and I left 2-inch tail at the end. And I use my Dollar Tree clamps just to hold this together. It just makes life a lot easier. And I will be feeding this little itty bitty crimp bead to start the finishing process. So I'm just going to feed this through just like that. And then I'm going to take a lobster clasp, feed that through. And then basically what I am going to do is feed the tail of this wire through the crimp bead to create this kind of loop, if you see here. And then I am just going to push this wire through the beads. So I generally do about 3 beads. You could do more, but just to keep the tail of this wire kind of secure. And now I did leave a little room because I do like the clasp to have a little bit of space to wiggle around. So now I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, and I'm just going to squish this crimp bead. just like so. And that's how that's going to look. And then I'm just going to feed this wire back, and I'm just going to cut this excess tail because we don't need that much to be sticking out. So taking that, there we go. And that's what that little tail looks like now. So then I'm just going to push all my beads down so I can seal off the other end. And I don't like to give too much give in the mask holder, only because this tail will pop out. If you could see this here, you see that hanging out a little bit. So I'm just going to tuck that back in and then get ready to do the other end. Now, you could see that I've definitely cut too much or left too much, and I'm going to cut again about 2 inches for the tail, and I will trim as I go, just about that much. I just take about my fingers. I'm just going to cut the excess and cut the excess. Why this is not working? Oh Lord. Okay. I'm going to cut the excess. Here we go. And then I am going to do the same technique with the crimp bead. I'm going to feed the crimp bead back through the ends. And then I'm going to take my lobster clasp, just like that, and then feed the wire through the crimp bead. And I will just feed one through and just kind of tighten it just like this. And you'll see that string just kind of hanging out. I'm just going to tuck this in to the second bead to try to fit it through the third. And just a warning, I am not a professional. I learned this as I went, and I've made about probably 15 mask holders. So yeah, it's a lot, but you know, I've learned as I go. And there we go. Okay, I'm just going to pull that through the second wire. That looks okay. And I'm just going to cut that excess. But before I do that, I want to just push down that crimp bead because I don't want too much wiggle room in between the beads. I'm going to squish this down. Press that down just like so. And there you go. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this excess tail so no one gets poked by this wire. And there we go. Okay, and it is all done. Now I do like to cover the crimp beads only because it just, who wants a squished crimp bead? So I'm going to take a crimp cover and just slip that over just like that, and then I will be closing this crimp cover. There we go. And it just looks like another bead in the mask holder. And really, just finishing the end, I just like to put it in a pretty bag, and that's it, you guys. It's really super simple, and I just cannot stop making these mask holders. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.